Peace and welcome to another episode of Soul View. And today I have a very, very, very special guest with me, man. I have Francine Morris in the building, y'all. What's up, Francine? Welcome to the Dragon's Lair. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Not a problem. We excited too. You know what I'm saying? I've been in communicating with you for like a month now, something like
Uh,
that.
Something, maybe a little over a month. Yeah,
Yeah,
a
probably a
little.
little bit over a month, man. And I always appreciate your emails. You give a lot of knowledge, and I was just like amazed by the things that you were doing. You know what I'm saying? And you was actually in this whole entertainment world. So it was mind blowing. So I wanted to definitely have a conversation with you and a build to understand your journey. So I appreciate you taking the time out.
Well, yeah, I definitely escaped with my life, and it was changed because I went into the industry with the perception of the world. I mean, I was asleep and sleepwalker, but by the time it was over and creator was like, "Well, it's time for you to leave." And I'm like, no. He's like, no, it's time to go. And I left, and I couldn't be happier, especially now that I know the inner machinations of the dark part of entertainment, and I'm grateful to have escaped with my life.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful. So let's start there. How did you come into not just entertainment, but what's your story? You know what I'm saying, Francine? How did your journey start?
Well, I was a very small tomboy, very active, and was just into sports my entire life. But as a child, I believe I heard that I would be doing something on the big screen one day, but I really didn't understand that at the time. I mean, that was back in the days of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Escape to Witch Mountain. Oh God. Oh, and The Adventures of Pippi Longstocking. Ooh, I love those shows. Did you ever see those?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So it was back in those days, but I never, thought, oh, I want to entertain and this and that. But I always like to laugh and have fun, this and that. So it just, I guess, long story short, all my athletic pursuits and being so hyperactive, I eventually took up martial arts, and everyone kept telling me how good I was, and so finally I wanted to find out. Well, let's see how good I really am. So I started with the point fighting, and that's such a scam, the point fighting. So I wanted to go to last man standing because they pissed me off, cheating me. And so I went to last man standing, and my only loss, and I'm very glad I get the chance to say this, it was a world championship fight, and I was passing gallstones that day. I don't know if you're familiar with gallstones, but um, at that time I wasn't either. But anyway, so I had the one loss as far as kickboxing, but that career led to an opening in Hollywood with an agent that was saying, well, would you be interested in being a stunt woman? And I was like, I didn't know, because I just didn't know a lot about it, but I'm like, hey, you get to be active. Okay, let's chat.
Right.
So I was invited to a stunt workshop, and pretty much everything they was doing, I already had mastered and knew what to do, with the exception of like camera angles and set talk, like jargon and stuff, and directions. But I had been in plays in junior high school, and in college I was in the Miss Black OU pageant, got first runner up. um, I've been in different things of entertainment, but it wasn't like, oh, I want to become the world's best stunt woman. so
Right.
so that's what the fact that I had a specialty with fighting, that's what really opened the door for me. But then once Sonia passed, that I had told you about, that basically just opened the doors wide open, because there were no other fighters, and Sonia wasn't a fighter either.
Okay.
But she was, she was tough and tumble, rough and tumble. So,
Right.
but that's basically how I got in the industry. And once Sonia passed and I went to her funeral, and I realized that, this job ain't no joke, I was determined to hone my high fall skills. And so I just devoted like about 6 months or so to high falls, is specifically the backwards high fall, because that's the most dangerous. But and then I left it alone for a while, and then I got a call to do a backwards high fall. But that's a whole nother story there. But yeah, I specifically trained on the high falls, the driving, fights, and then I dabbled in a lot of other things.
That's amazing. So let me ask you this, because you know you were fighting, and then you were approached by someone to get you into the entertainment field. Did you know what that actually meant to be in that entertainment world?
Absolutely not. Actually, when and the name of this hotel, I want you to bleep it out, because I'm going to see if they're going to will answer me, and if not, I'm going to use a hotel chain that will. But it's a pretty. But the name is. I was working as a night audit at when I started doing stunts, and then like when there would be get-togethers with the stunt people, kind of like meet and greets and yada yada. You exchange your headshots and your resumes and this and that. I always would have to leave early because I'd have to go to work, because I work graveyard shift, and people be
Okay.
like, "Oh man, you still working that job? You need to quit. You need to quit." I was like, "Forget you, because come bill time, I won't be able to find these fools." So anyway, I kept working full time, not auditor, full time stunts, and then I got a call to do a high fall for BET, Black Entertainment Television,
Okay.
and I had been working that entire night, and so I clocked out and then headed straight out for the shoot, and it was like, I don't know how long it was, about 45 minutes or whatever, but anyway, so finally the part where I go to do my high fall, and I climb the tower, and right before they get ready to film, they're like, hold up, there was camera difficulty. So I'm up there waiting. How long, I don't know. But when they called action, I was asleep. And so I'm 55 foot up on a cell phone tower, looking down like, am I dreaming, or am I at work? You know how you are when you wake up and you're like,
Right.
is it real or Memorex? And
Right.
so I was like, well, let me just hit my mark and we'll go from there. And I, of course, hit my mark, but that week I put in my 2-week notice because I couldn't do it. And the real trip about it is during that time I was working those 2 highly technical jobs, I was getting like maybe 2-4 hours sleep a night max on a good day. So it was just crazy. But no, I didn't really know I was going to make it. And then even at that, when I was doing stunts, I would tell people that if it doesn't work out like within 6 months, I'm out of there. And they're like, oh, you can't put no time limit on it. And I'm like, oh, you want to bet? Watch. And I had a 6-month time limit, and sure enough, there were so many times where it would just get so close to the wire. And one time I was homeless for 1 week in California. That's a whole nother story. But only 1 week. And but whenever it got to that time of, okay, the 6 months is running around, something big would happen, and then I'd be on a roll, for a while, and then that's what got me through, my career, because I was determined I wasn't going to be a, Hollywood or bust.
Right. Well, because you mentioned your career, can you let the people know some of the things that you've done in the entertainment field?
Ooh, well, I got my resume. I've done over 80 feature films and television shows. I would say more than half are blockbusters, or they do like 1, 2, 3, and I've done print, Vogue, Paris. I've done. Let me look at my resume. I forget at times.
I know you sent me stuff on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah, did you get to peep those out?
Yeah, that was amazing. I have some of those pictures that will be shown as well.
Oh,
But
cool.
I know you said Starship Troopers, which was one of my favorite movies.
Did
Uh,
you see my cameo?
yes, that's what I'm saying. That's awesome. That's what I'm saying. Like that was really like one of my favorite movies because I was all into science fiction. So Starship Troopers was definitely on top of the list. And I think you mentioned some other movies, but if you could find your resume, I would love for you to read some of that.
Oh, I got it right here. Okay, I'll start with the feature films. Nutty Professor 1 and 2, Ed TV, Supernova. Do you want me to put the doubles when I come across the doubles?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, of course.
Okay, and if I don't say doubles, then it's just utility stunts, which means you just there helping with stunts. You're not doubling anybody in particular. You're just a
Okay.
stunt person. So okay, Nutty Professor 1 and 2, Ed TV, Supernova, Angela Bassett double, Mimic, Blade, Debussy Wright double, A Breed Apart, American History X, stunt actress. I had a cameo in that one also. George Wallace, Starship Troopers, Tammy Adrian George double, Cold Around the Heart, Lynn Whitfield double, Independence Day, Vivica Fox double, Baps, Halle Berry double, Barbed Wire, Victoria Rao double. I got the hookup, Isaiah Carp double, The Rock, Batman Forever, Set It Off, Vivica Fox double, Space Jams, Eraser, Vanessa Williams double. She had 3 doubles on that movie, actually, on Eraser.
Wow.
America's Most Wanted, High School High, Prime Target, A Thin Love Between Love and Hate, Lynn Whitfield and Regina King doubles, and I've got to tell you the story on that one, but how I got to do both doubles in one shot.
Well, let's go into it right now. Go ahead and go into it.
Ooh, okay. Uh, Long story short, if you've seen Thin Line Between Love and Hate, the
I
scene
love that
where,
movie.
pardon me?
I love that movie.
Okay, wonderful, me too. Um, the part where they crash out the window, at the beginning, I am Lynn Whitfield, but by the time they land in the water, I'm Regina King's double because the one stunt woman that was supposed to do her jump, when we were practicing, um, there was a big, construction set up so we could practice in safety
Hmm.
and know where our marks are and yada yada. But during the practice, and I had the shorter jump, she had the longer one. She never made her mark during. I forget how long we practiced, and then they said, "Oh, it's a wrap. Let's pictures up," which means go get your hair and makeup and get ready. They get
Hmm.
ready to do the shot, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, this girl never hit her mark, and I'm not about to sit and watch her jump to her death." And so I went to her and I asked her, "Do you want to trade jumps?" Because I was jumping her jump just for the heck of it. I didn't even
Hmm.
jump my jump, actually. And so she was like, "Yeah, yeah, okay, okay." and I could tell she was afraid. She didn't know what to do, and I guess it was an answered prayer. But as long story short, because she backed out of her stunt, they replaced her with another stunt woman. So while we was waiting on the third stunt woman to arrive, one of the older old school boys comes up to me and tells me, I had no right to do that. I never should have done that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you never offered to do somebody else's stunt. And I'm like, well, I mean, how do you respond to that? And,
Right.
But that's part of the problem in Hollywood. And I wasn't really aware of it then, thank goodness. And but now it's crystal clear. But I know I did the right thing. But that's the story behind it. Yeah. So
That's interesting. And let's go into that, Francine. I want to talk about, because see, I'm big on the entertainment. And like I was telling you before, I feel like entertainment is a big clue, and it's a big reminder for us to kind of understand this matrix and this reality that we live in.
yeah.
I think the music and the movies are key components. So when you mention the dark side of entertainment, what do you mean? What are we missing that we're not seeing, from the public standpoint?
Well, first of all, the entertainment industry is controlled by the deletes. A lot of people like to call them the elites, but I call them the deletes.
I
And
like that.
that was one of the problems that I had with my production company was sabotage. And that's a whole nother story there. But at that time, I didn't realize who was controlling the puppet strings. So it was a good old boy system that evil occult, SRA, and just the yuck of the earth had control of entertainment. And one thing about it, everybody dreams and everybody laughs. So I do believe that storytelling, entertainment, great entertainment, and that includes art, music, good storyline, gym and wardrobe, everything, the whole ambiance, great entertainment. I believe that's what's going to help the people of the sun is great entertainment, unity, and care.
That's powerful. That's very powerful. So we're starting to see that this group of elites and these people that run the entertainment world may be some of the same people that are running our world. Could we say that?
Well, it goes hand in hand because you got to understand the propaganda machine that movies and television are. And it goes back to Germany, Nazi Germany, and the rat line from Germany to America. They went straight to the CIA, straight to NASA, straight to, the higher ups. Right. And they knew what the television were. I mean, they stole all the propaganda. They stole all of the ancient knowledge, hid it, twisted for their evil devices, and this is what we've got.
Wow.
And
well said.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
That's well said.
Yeah. And then it gets even deeper because people say, oh, well, they're into the evil occult, but it goes even deeper than evil occult. It goes into satanic ritual abuse and supporting conjuring such as that, and how dare they present this to our children and our loved ones and call it entertainment. Don't get me started.
That's awesome. And it sounds like programming, but yeah, wow.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, TV programming, that's what it is. And then when you look and see the pattern and they know exactly, but it's with everything. It's everything in this matrix, from the uh, medicine, the snake oil they're pushing, the
Hmm.
medicine they're trying to prevent, or weaponizing. They call it weaponized weed.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's so true. And one of the things that you mentioned that I think that was important is that everybody laughs and everybody dreams. I think that's powerful.
Right.
And I
And
want to
cry.
go into deep into that because, from our conversations, I know that you have this gift of dream interpretations. You know what I'm saying? Can you kind of give us some background on how you were able to obtain that gift and where did it come from?
Well, in retrospect, which would probably be a lot quicker, I believe I got it from my native ancestry and my Black ancestry. I mean, I think it's just both sides of the coin. And then my mother, um, who I told you, me and my two sisters were kidnapped as children, and we did not get to know my mother until, well, I knew her the last 16 years of her life. And she was ill during most of this time, and I helped her. But during this time, people would call her and get their dreams interpreted. And I would be like, why are these people calling her? Why are they calling my mom? Get your own mom, dream interpreted mom. Mine's busy. But so I think that's kind of how it solidified. And she passed in May of 2018. And my dream life, I should say, has gotten so much stronger. And I want to preface with this statement that 2 days before, I think it was in August, there were some lightning strikes in Tulsa. And the day before, I was feeling like just crazy, like just really weird. I've never felt this way before. It just felt like imminent danger, but just kind of like I wasn't sure what the deal was. And then I mentioned it to someone in my circle and just kind of was like, man, I just feel really strange. And then the next day I was out handling some business, and then the feeling was like 100 times worse. I mean, it was like, just felt like someone was in pursuit of me, or I was about to run someone over, or something bad was about to happen. And then in Tulsa, I got the call they were having lightning strikes, and my daughter was. I mean, the car they was in, they was screaming. They said the earth was shaking like earthquake. One woman, her bonnet almost blew off. She was screaming like crazy, and I realized that I had a premonition, that's what that was. It was a bad premonition.
Mm.
And and I searched and searched and reached out to so many people in the metaphysical community, and I got a total of no response back.
Hmm.
So I had to deal with it myself, but I started in the ancient scriptures and found out about the devas and how they deal with the energies of nature, the elements, and so forth, and that that these are actual beings, and I believe that they have been in my influence in my life in so many ways. It just is. That's why it's like at the point where it's like, okay, what's up? What is going on here?
Hmm.
And I remember Bobby would be talking about how we can control the weather, and he
Right.
was explaining about the devas, and I forget the other names, but in America they're called angels. But the elements and the directions and the cosmos, there are different angelic dimensions for different purposes, and we've just been programmed not to understand they're here. We've been programmed not to understand our sixth sense, or all of our senses, because I think we have more than six, but I think six just represents the beyond, the six and beyond.
Right.
I think
Right.
we have unimaginable, senses. We just are programmed to be dumb.
Right. That's amazing. I think that's a talented gift when you can actually interpret those dreams, you know what I'm saying? So and I see that it was passed down through your lineage. So that's awesome to see from your native side and from your African American side. So that's awesome as well. And you mentioned, master teacher Bobby Hemmett, which I love myself. And you know how Bobby always loved movies and reference movies. So
Yeah.
one of the things that we talked about is this Project Power movie. And I couldn't wait to get you on the line and talk about this movie, because you was like, Bobby would have loved this movie, but you've seen so much into that movie. If we can, let's just break a little bit down as far as that actual movie. So if anybody doesn't know what I'm referring to, Project Power is a movie that's on Netflix that stars Jamie Foxx. And let's go in from there. So what did you love about that movie? Because you said it's the movie of 2020.
Oh, yes. Well, before I get to the themes, just everything, the soundtrack, the timing, the cuts, the flashbacks, the tempo, everything to that, the humor, the tact, just great entertainment.
It was a great movie. It was a great movie.
Oh yeah, after watching that movie, I told you I became President Jamie Foxx fan club.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen it, but there's so much to learn from it or to see. I won't say learn, I'll say to observe, because we know the powers that be have to say what the dealio is, and
right.
They're saying it so loud in Project Power. But the thing that's so hard is there's some concepts that I think in the metaphysical community, the Sun metaphysical community, we're not very knowledgeable about, and there needs to be discussion about. Because, I could sit up and talk all day long about You're the Rat or maritime law, but if somebody doesn't know what it means, then I may sound like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
To them. So yeah, like the maritime law thing and the current police protocol for people of the Sun. That's the main one.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is 2020 Year of the Rat, and that's tied into the eagle versus the serpent knowledge and dialogue. Oh, all throughout that movie. Which I'll just do a spoiler alert now, is all about the goddess energy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then the last thing is ice dreams. Take a pill, become a princess. But it's really, a matter of, like Bobby was talking about with melanin. Remember, he was saying how those melanin pills were made, and how the ice people need them or they'll die.
Right.
So it just, there's a twist on that with the pill power, ice, sun, all that. It's but that's it in a nutshell. But it's if you want some further specifics, like as far as the eagle versus serpent knowledge, stuff like that, I can go in deeper. But what did you like most about the movie?
Yeah, that's all great examples, and that's deep. And some of the things that you said, I wasn't even tripping off that. So I'm gonna have to rewatch that with those same ideals, basically, to grasp those concepts that you were talking about. But I think that were great. For me, it was a lot of great things that I seen there as far as with dealing with the occult and dealing with metaphysics. Like I was telling you earlier, when Jamie Foxx went to the door where MGK was at, which is the white actor that was playing the role of the guy who was set on fire.
Newt.
Yeah. And when he went to the door, on the door was this reptilian, this lizard, and this lizard is shown all the time throughout the metaphysical community because it has the third eye. You know what I'm saying? So I seen that he was going into the third eye. Anytime, Bobby used to say anytime fire explosion, happens in a movie, it symbolizes, Kundalini rising. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, it was like, I understood why MGK caught on fire, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's all part of the metaphysics. It's all part of Kundalini as well, too. So it's a lot of deep messages in that movie. And for me, I don't know how you perceived it, but the little pill, it looks like little portions of the sun. That's what I was telling my wife. It's like little portions of the sun. So just think of it as with X-Men Apocalypse, right? When they speak on Ra and how Ra came back to get all his X-Men and he gave them power. You understand?
Right.
And then I remember one part of the movie, which was real profound. He wanted Professor X to get out a message to the masses. And he's like, I can't do it. I don't have cerebral. And I remember Ra was saying, you don't need cerebral. You have me. You understand?
Right.
And he was able to do that. And to me, that kind of corresponds to the Project Power movie. If we understand that Ra was a symbol for the sun, and that this Project Power pill, and that's why it was yellow, and it looks like a solar flare, it was a part of them getting the power from the sun. You understand? So they're getting power, and then depending on your DNA, it would show you what attribute you would have. So that was the whole point of the guy selling the project pills and trying to have that lady buy it so she could be the most powerful lady in South America, because he was trying to give her a demonstration of how it can upgrade your DNA. And I thought that was so deep, because that's kind of what we're going into right now with this cycle, this whole 19 thing. You know what I'm want to say? The C19 is what I want to say, for because YouTube tripping on that thing. But
I know.
the whole thing of that is that we have a misinterpretation of what that really is. And if it's something here to upgrade us, and they know it, and they've been trying to block it and suppress us so we won't transform, and that's why you'll see people have a bad trip or a good trip, because it's all in your DNA. It's all in your cosmic DNA, and whatever your blood lineage is here. But it's something that's in our DNA that can actually upgrade us and transform us. You know what I'm saying? So some people, like you said, will explode and they can't take it. And like you said, the ice people, they can't get it or whatever. But some people will just have an innate ability based on the transformation that comes in. And I think that was deep. If that was the truth, you know what I'm saying? I think that is deep. If you understand that concept, that it can really, the sun is really here to help us because we are children of the sun. Any melanated person across this land or this plane, will be transformed and helped when this energy comes in. That's how I feel.
That's why they've been trying to block the sun for so long.
Exactly. Chemtrails. Yes.
And the food and mix that with the programming, and now, Lord, 5G.
Exactly.
Lord, I'd rather be killed by an asteroid than 5G.
I feel you. And that's what I'm saying. So to me, that makes it a deep, deep movie. And I think people will need to rewatch it to understand that, you know what I'm saying? To kind of put the things that we're talking about and try to study that movie, because like you said, about entertainment, it's there for us to study, and it's a lot for us to learn. Because like you said, they have to give us the information, but if we're not aware consciously of what we're looking at, then we won't never get it. We will only see it as entertainment, and not that it's true knowledge and it's real true history being said. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And the sun people are the original storytellers. I mean, period. It's just been so twisted and used for ulterior gain. So
I agree. And I think that that's one of the things that has been distorted over time, is that the story has always been distorted over time. You know what I'm saying? Just through human trials and error, so, we never know. And I feel like that if we study these movies, music, and art, anything that's artistic and creative, if we study those things, I think we can kind of connect the dots and correspond things necessary for our advancement.
Oh yes, most definitely. And talking about connecting the dots, this is like really a pet peeve of mine as far as in the metaphysical world, is how they try and say the Renaissance, from the Dark Ages to the Renaissance, was like, oh, a time of great discovery and this and that and all that hogwash, when in reality it was them trying to kill off the ancient Egyptians and the Moors, and they stole all the knowledge and went into the Dark Ages. And then when they came out, all of the prior paintings that were black mysteriously, magically were white, you know. So that was their Renaissance, you know, from the Dark Ages. But in reality, it was plagiarized, I guess, because it wasn't theirs. And that's what gets me on these old buildings that obviously have ancient antiquity. They're trying to say the Europeans did that. And it's like, come on, do your history. Give the Moors their credit, give the ancient Egyptians their credit. But no, they still want to continue this facade like we're imbeciles, like we're never going to get it. You know, they ran out of time. That's what the Mayan calendar was telling them. They ran out of time. And right now it's like a battle where the loser is in its death throes. And if you know anything about the death throes of an animal or a person, they can hurt you just as bad in their death throes. So you have to be aware of that. So it seems like, oh, well, the Mayans said they ran out of time. Why are they still here? Yada, yada. And it's like, well, their time is up. The age of Aquarius is here. And things will play out as they do. But their time is up. They're in death throes.
That's powerful. So you're saying it's full circle. So it's coming back to its original state at this point in time.
I can't say all that, but I believe that there are cycles that we are not aware of, that the ancient scriptures have tried to inform us, that has been suppressed. And I believe that our sun is a sister planet to Nibiru, and that we have not been told the truth about their orbits around each other, and that Nibiru is coming back. That's what is going on. This is a cycle that the Mayans was talking about. So
now, when you say
I don't
that,
know why everybody's so upset.
right? No, because I mean, you're saying some powerful information, Francine. So when you say that the Mayans knew this day would come, what did they specifically mean by that? Were they saying that it was going to be a new age, or that the movie is over?
No, they was basically explaining that the cycles, as far as with the Aquarian age is coming in, and that the prior cycles of the patriarchal murder cult, murder death cult societies, SRA, all that, it's over. It's a new world that I took it, people of the sun will benefit from the changes of the new world and the way the cycle is. That's what I took it as. Why is everybody up in arms? But what it is that everybody was afraid of that corporatism ending and them being able to be the overseers of us and continue their lives. You know, they wanted that to continue, and it's over.
Wow. It's over. That's powerful right there. So when we talk about these people, or these people that's in rulership of not only the entertainment but of society today, you mentioned something about these archons. Do you think that they're working with this type of energy? You know what I'm saying? Or these type of like Bobby used to say, forces. You know what I'm saying? Are they working with these forces, or what do you think, that consists of?
Well, first of all, the battle is between light and evil. And archons are an evil entity. They're electromagnetic shapeshifters They're a parasitic entity, and they're very real, but you can't see them. But a lot of, like you said, the Gnostic scripts speak of it. The Emerald Tablets, definitely, because before I read the Emerald Tablets, I felt like I had an invisible enemy. Just too much crazy stuff was going on, and it just, I know what it feels like to have an enemy doing something against me. And even though I couldn't see anyone, I just would tell my daughters, it's just like I feel like I have an invisible enemy. And then when I heard the Emerald Tablets, I was like, Eureka, I have found it. That was, history from there. And I told them about it, and I've been researching as much as I can on it. And it's still not really out there in the forefront by design, I'm sure. But yeah, they're real. Electromagnetic, mind reading, shape shifting entities. But I say if you're aware of them and you keep your vibrations up, you it's okay. And meditate, pray, do deep breathing, soul search. It's nothing to be afraid of. What's the fears when you don't know they kick in your glutes?
Wow. Yeah, that's deep. So do you think that we're in a time right now where it is a spiritual war going on between the two, the light and the dark?
It's always been that, I believe. I think Earth has to go through whatever cycle it has to. And so there's been this battle, and I think it is in the dialogue of the eagle versus the serpent. And it points closer toward the truth of who we are, what we're supposed to be doing, and what, like the spirit of Ma'at, that's part of the serpent knowledge, the Kundalini, that's serpent knowledge. This is some of my research that I've gotten as far as the Kundalini serpent knowledge, this and that. Okay, in public schools, they teach us that the dinosaurs went extinct and birds are relative to dinosaurs. Did you learn that in school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if you go further back in history to the ancients, there were dragons. And at one point, this is where you get that symbolism of the lamb, because the villagers would sacrifice a lamb so the dragons would leave the people alone. So, and there also used to be pictures of crosses with lambs on it. Okay, and this was when there were dragons. But then all of a sudden, I think it was in 18 something, one of the, whoever invented the term dinosaurs, that's when you first in the historical records start hearing about dinosaurs. Prior to that, it was all dragons. And during this time, that was the matriarchal, that was the knowledge of the sun, knowledge of the serpentine energy, the kundalini, all that nature. That's what the serpentine knowledge is. That's what all the indigenous people had. That's why the Europeans were dead set on trying to exterminate them. But they can't exterminate all of them because they need us, a portion of us here. That's why they want to recycle us and have us keep coming back, because they ultimately need us. They just can't have too many of us here. So, but yeah, so that whole dialogue about dinosaurs and dragons, it needs to be further researched, but I think it's hand in hand with where the patriarchal tried to murder the matriarchal and act as if that's the story.
Hmm.
Well, it is his story, but
Right.
not ours.
That's powerful information. And see, that's one of the things that I have a hard time dealing with is that, when people pick and choose what they like to say that's a false narrative in history. But
Mhm.
what I'm saying is if you look at it all, I think that it's all misleading, when with the history that they taught us. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that there's no gray area in that. I feel like a lot of that, if you feel like, okay, the slave history that they try to teach us in school, if that was wrong, then why isn't everything else wrong? I feel like a lot of that stuff is wrong. And
It
that,
is.
yeah, and like you saying that we have to go back to the ancient ones to learn the true history, and I feel like that's what we have to look at it. So like that's what frustrates me is like you can't pick and choose out of the history that they taught you what was real and what wasn't. I feel like it all was a lie. You know what I'm saying? And that we
Right.
have to do our own research like you're doing as well. So I appreciate that information.
Yeah, it gets deep. And then to see how the concerted effort with the secret societies to keep it all under wraps. But it's okay because, our ancestors knew what was going to go down and we're prepared for this. So we just got to do what we got to do and focus on that, take control and just do what we got to do.
Okay. So at this point we should be in a higher vibration and being basically happy at this point in time because things are about to change. Is that what you're saying?
Um, yes, things are in the process of changing, energetically at best, but yes, and it's a time to just ascend, to take your mind higher, not as far as drugs or anything like that, but as far as learning and just, meditating on good things, cut out the horror. Life's a horror story.
Mhm.
Shoot.
Right. Right. Especially from our perspective. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. So let me ask you this. Have you ever thought about, making a sort of a service or a business for your dream interpretations? Have you ever thought about having people reach out to you for a service to get their dreams interpreted? Because I believe that's a powerful gift that you have.
I would love to do that. I really would, but I had no idea how to go about, getting it going. And for the most part, if you just come out and tell people, "Oh yeah, I interpret dreams," it's like, "Yeah, right." Pull this other leg, plays jingle bells, and it's like you just, it's dreams are so personal, and people just have been programmed about the wrong things and the stuff they're putting in their cerebral cortexes, the things they're watching and listening to. It all makes a difference. It really does, as far as your energetic level and what you think about and how you like if you're doing really good and something happens and you like, damn, let it take you to the left. It's like, oh, the archives did their job. It's like you gotta be, like strategic and try and think how many steps ahead of the enemy. So it's hard to just, put in one nice neat package. It's a
Right.
journey.
Yeah, it definitely is a journey. And I think that with your mindset and as far as giving people the truth, I think that's something you should ponder on. What I'm saying, as far as adding that to your arsenal, because I think it is a time for people to get some realization. And
Hmm.
if dreams interpretations can be a resourceful ingredient, I
Hmm.
definitely think you should think about that because you were given that gift for a reason, not to only interpret your dreams or your loved ones, but for everyday citizens like myself and people who are going down the path of higher awareness, and need some assistance. I think that gift was given to you to do that. So, I understand, today's society, but I just think it's something that you should think about. I think that's very powerful. I know we had conversations about it before, but I think that's something that you should add to your arsenal of what things that you have coming up in the future. And to speak on one of those things, I know you have real entertainment dimensions. So can you tell me quickly what you want to accomplish with this entertainment company?
Okay, and real, that's REEL. Basically, I want to make great entertainment, movies, film, documentaries, books, what have you, just great entertainment with product placement, advertisement, because that's a whole nother market that they, try to sabotage the sister from. And it's like, I see why. I mean, it's just so, it's big bucks.
Mm-hmm.
They only want it to themselves. So,
Right.
um, there will be advertising, just product placement, advertisement, as you see in movies normally, stuff like that. But just wholesome products and wholesome ideals in the movies and great humor and real life stuff. Stupid Disney, whatever crap they have out there. It's Oh my gosh, it's so sad. It really is. But I want to be opposite of that. It's not going to be that tired formula.
Right.
It is an alchemical situation as far as our people, and we all have to put all the elements in. And that's the beauty about film production. Is pretty much if you have a gift or talent, you can be in the movie in some shape, form, fashion. You know for too long it's been, oh well, this person's going to be the star and this and that. No, it's everybody can have a piece of the pie, everybody can have fun. And half the time in Hollywood, the movie stars trying to do the stunt people's stunts and stuff. It's like, hey, you acting, why are you trying to do my job?
Right.
They say everybody wants that 15 minutes of fame or whatever. But whether that's true or not, which I kind of do think it is true, I think through producing great movies, not only will it help the community and its morals and progression forward in the ascension, etc., but also, give an outlet to people regardless what their gifts are. So.
Right. That's amazing. That's awesome. And I can't wait for that to take off, and it's something that I like to think about, and I say to my family as well, is that, what would or how entertaining would a movie be with one person? You know what I'm saying? Would it be entertaining? It wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Because you need all the ingredients. So everybody has to play a role,
Mm-hmm.
to complete that movie. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a wonderful thing. And I wish you nothing but success on that. And hopefully you can add dream interpretations to that entertainment thing, because I think that'll be amazing as well. But I believe that you said a lot of powerful information. I appreciate, you having the time to build this with me, because I think your journey has been amazing. And based on our conversations and what we talked about, I believe that you're going to accomplish so much more. You know what I'm saying? So I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate that. And I appreciate you. And we're going to have to do this again. We're going to have to, because I know you love movies. We're going to have to decode some of these movies and start putting some information out, for people as well, to see a different perspective, because, you have a lot of people decoding movies, but, it doesn't hurt to get someone else's perspective on it as well, if they can see things that you might have missed. You see?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Anything that you want to promote, anything that you want to say to the people, the floor is
Real
open.
quick, as far as Real Entertainment Dimensions, we're beginning this campaign that I'm going to have to make a documentary out of, child safe from traffic and attack. Well, actually, attack and traffic. It's child safe from attack and traffic. So we're up against some really evil forces, and I'm going to get it on film, because there's no laws as far as dogs, dangerous dogs being out. My 15-year-old was attacked by a pit bull, and come to find out there's no laws on these people holding their beast in. So it's taken on a campaign level now, and I'm going to document it, and maybe this will be my first film.
That'd be awesome. And I'm sorry to hear that too, about your daughter.
Yeah, it's been something for sure. It's turned our whole life around, and but we're gonna make the best of it, and that's why I say that'll be the next thing coming from Real Entertainment Dimensions, just giving a snapshot view of what you just got to do for some justice around here. Goodness
Yeah.
gracious!
Yeah, I agree. And I can relate to that because when I was younger, I got bit by a dog and it
Oh
wasn't
my,
cool at all.
oh my.
It wasn't cool. It was actually traumatizing for me. And I used to be scared of dogs up until 2 years ago when I moved into my new house and my neighbors had dogs and I had to overcome that fear. But before
Right.
then, I was fearful of dogs because of that trauma. So I definitely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and there's been other attacks around here. I walking with my other daughter and had to fight 3 dogs. One of them was a pit, so it's a epidemic. It's really bad, and if it's in my neighborhood, as far as them letting this happen, it could be anywhere in America. So,
Facts.
yeah, now that it's reservation land or it's always been whatever, nobody seems to know anything. But that's okay. Like I said, I got to figure out the name of the documentary, but it will include child safe.
Well, that's awesome, and I can't wait for it. And anytime that you want to drop some news, to get in contact with me. Appreciate you. I appreciate you taking out the time and sharing your story. What a wonderful story.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to talking with you, and I wish your listeners the best and ask them to get that energy up,
Well,
their
we appreciate
vibrations
that.
up.
Yes, yes, and that's what we're gonna do. That's what I'm gonna personally do. So I really appreciate you, Francine, and nothing but peace and love to you. Okay.
All right, you as well.
So, guys, this is another episode of Soul View. I hope you enjoy. Peace.